We're doing a Salamba Savasana. Salamba means with support. We also call it Savāsana too. Savāsana is corpse pose. Well, we call that the relaxation pose. And instead of using a bolster, we're going to be using wide blankets. This is a setup I learned from Lois. It's especially helpful for beginners whose backs could be sensitive lying over blankets, even non-beginners. It's not very high and it's nice and wide, so it usually works for everybody. And it's a different experience than the bolster. So if you're used to using the bolster, this is really nice also. I have doubled my mat with a blanket, okay? And we need 4 blankets for the support. So with the blanket that doubles the mat, that's 5 blankets. And first I want to go over the folding of the blankets. So the blanket, the first fold is lengthwise. It's like the shape of a mat. You see, if I open the blanket fully, it's this. These are Mexican blankets, depends. But I fold all the blankets like that, even if they're moving blankets or Mexican blankets or Indian blankets. So you fold it lengthwise first, long and narrow, like a yoga mat. And then you fold it in half to make it shorter. And then in half again to make it shorter. So I think, okay, we're going to start with this. And then this in half again, like this. So it gives like a, kind of like a rectangular shape, but this is what I call the oblong fold. This is like the bolster shape. So it's not the bolster shape, it's the other shape. So this is kind of what we would use to sit in swastikasana. So I have a video where I show the 4 sides of a blanket. And this is important for doing setups so that you set up correctly. There is the closed side, because it's closed. Then there is the open side. It's the open side. There is the folded side where all the sides are folded. This is folded and this is folded. That's the folded side. And then there's the fringe side. Okay, so I am placing the blankets with the folded side towards me and the fringe side towards the wall. Make sure your mat is not too close to the wall, because otherwise you won't have room to set up. And I'm folding it at one end, placing it at one end of the mat, really centered. Second blanket I place on top of the first one, but I am alternating the closed sides. The closed side is thicker and the open side is thinner. So if you put both closed sides on the same side, it's a little uneven. So if you alternate them, it makes for a more even surface, and it's a little stepped. So about 2 inch step, more or less, okay? So this is the blue blanket you see, and the yellow blanket is here. So there's a step. And I used all different colors so that it would be easier to see things. Now, the third blanket, that same fold as the other ones, but I folded one more time into a little, what I think Lois calls this a small fold. And you put that as an extension of the other stuff. So that's going to be like a platform for the head blanket, so the head blanket doesn't fall back. The head blanket, if I fold it the same way, for me personally, is too high for my neck. And if I fold it just in half, is too low. So I fold it into an accordion 3-fold to give me just the right amount of height for my head and neck. So it's not too high and it's not too low. And that's for my head when I lie down. See, if you don't have this purple one, it falls, you see. So I add that so that it doesn't fall back, it stays leveled. Okay, now making sure that the mat is straight, the blankets are centered, then I'm going to sit in front of the stuff and have a little room. I want to have a little room between my buttocks and the blankets. Not enormous, just maybe about 2 inches away from the blanket. Knees bent, feet flat on the floor, lifting the chest. And I move the buttocks flesh away from the low back. And I have a video that shows how to move the buttocks flesh in different directions. So this will go from top to bottom without moving in space. I want to stay where I am because I am at the right distance away from the blanket. So I tuck the buttocks flesh away from the low back, but I don't want to move away from the blankets, okay? I'm going to come onto my elbows and again tuck the buttocks flesh away from the low back. And then I lengthen the spine as I lie down. Knees bent, feet flat on the floor. And moving the buttocks flesh away from the low back, I use my hands to lengthen the back of my neck. And I'm going to adjust the buttocks in a more precise way. I use my hands to move the buttocks flesh again, and when I get to the tailbone, I sit on my hands and pause. And with the fingertips, I want to spread the muscles away from the tailbone in a horizontal manner as I set the buttocks down. So I lengthened and I broadened, and that helps me broaden and release the organs in the pelvis. Now, to adjust the legs, I stretch out my legs, feet flexed, so I lengthen the back of my legs, and I use my hands to lift my head up, and as I flex my legs to lengthen, I flex my feet, moving the legs a little bit wider than hips distance so that the groins can soften more readily, and then relax the legs. So you have lengthened them out, then you let them go, and just see, is one leg further away from the center line than the other? Is one forward, one back? Adjust if necessary. Even though the feet are wide, make sure the feet are still on the mat. And then lengthen the back of the head as you set the head down. The blanket under the head needs to be all the way to the shoulders, not under the shoulders, but all the way to the shoulder line. And then with the hands, again, I lengthen the back of the neck and the back of the skull. And with the fingertips, I broaden the back skull plate as I set my head down. So I have adjusted the back of my head the same way that I adjusted around the back of the pelvis and the tailbone. Long and wide, both ends of the spine, long and wide. Take a good breath. As you exhale, release the abdomen. Eyes are open. Gaze is fixed. Eyes quiet. Now we're going to take care of the shoulders. So just observe, because sometimes when a few moments have gone by, you can feel the pelvis is not just quite even. Sometimes we have a tendency to roll over to one side or the other. So adjust if necessary with the hands, the head blanket, the pelvis, all that. This time at the beginning is extremely important, because once you take care of all the adjustments, then you don't have to move anymore. So you really need to connect and observe and do all the adjustments now, so that later you don't have to move. You won't move later. Now, next thing, elbows bent and close to the waist, palms facing your face. And then from here, spread the clavicle. Feel how when you spread the clavicle, you move the shoulders down. And then pressing the elbows onto the floor, slide the shoulder blades a little bit away from the neck so that the trapezium can move away from the head. And when you slide the shoulder blades down, feel the spine of the shoulder blades, the upper part of the shoulder blades, comes in contact with the support. And the bottom of the shoulder blades, the tips of the shoulder blades, they kind of tuck in a little bit in the direction of the chest. It's important to slide the skin from top to bottom, but not bring the skin in towards the spine. Don't squeeze the skin between the shoulder blades. You need to remain broad there. And if you feel that moving that skin down created a little bit of tension in the middle back or lower back, with your hands again, you can move the buttocks flesh away from the low back. Now from here, move the elbows out to the sides a little bit.
Spreading the collarbones again. Outer shoulders down, inner shoulder blades up. Lengthen the back of the arms as you release the arms down. You lengthen the back of the arms. You roll the upper arms out. And then you relax the arms. So the arms are one long, flowy line from the shoulders to the fingertips. Don't bend the elbows and don't place the arms like a W where the hands are moving in the direction of the head. Let the arms be long and straight, and then you relax them. And ideally, you're resting on your index finger knuckle or middle knuckle rather than the pinky side knuckle. This means that the upper arms are well turned out. Let the armpit chest be open. Feel the separation between the upper arms and the armpits. The eyes are still open. Learn to adjust yourself with your eyes open, because fixing your gaze will help you allow the nervous system to settle down before you close your eyes. Take a good inhalation, and as you exhale, close the eyes through the exhalation. So you close the eyes in a conscious manner, not in an automatic manner. And as you're here with your eyes closed, have an eagle's eye view over your pose, your arms, your legs, your trunk, and feel. Observe if you sense that you need to adjust anything. Sometimes I feel there's a little more weight on one buttock more than the other, so I have to use the hands again to adjust. Then I have to redo the shoulders a little bit. And once you have adjusted, then you observe again. Observe and begin to let go of those organs of action. Legs and arms, relax. And as you let go of your organs of action, begin to relax also your facial muscles, your organs of communication. So starting with the scalp, let the scalp release. You want to release from top to bottom. So the scalp releases, and the skin of the forehead releases from the hairline in the direction of the nose. And as the skin of the forehead releases down, observe that you have enough support under your head so that the forehead is a little bit higher than the chin. Make sure that the head is not tilting back. That's important to understand. Have the correct support under the head for your, as the Indians would say, your, Arunji says, your kind personality. Have enough support for your body shape. And relaxing the skin of the forehead, release the eyebrows away from the center line. Let the eyebrows release away from each other. And the skin between the eyebrows softens and broadens. Unknit the brow. The temples relaxed, the skin over the temples soft, and even the skin around the ears. Release that. Let the ear canals be deep, cavernous, quiet. Let them be spacious inside. Feel your exhalations as you let go of these organs of communication. The sensory organs relax. The exhales are free. The abdomen lets go. Relax the jaw, the hinges. The lower jaw releases away from the top jaw. The tongue releases away from the teeth. And it softens in the direction of the root of the tongue. So the root of the tongue can be wide and broad. So the throat can remain spacious inside. Maintain that tube-like shape of the throat so the breath can flow freely, so that the throat doesn't fold, doesn't flatten. The lips are soft. The cheekbones and the mouth, the skin over the cheekbones are quiet, soft, relaxed. And as you let go, observe the abdomen deflate. Observe how the abdomen and the chest, there's a separation between them. The chest is lifted, lying over the blankets. The abdominal cavity is long. It's kind of thinned out. And as the abdomen deflates on the exhalation, the abdomen becomes like a valley. The chest, on the other hand, becomes like a mountain, letting the chest be lifted and broad and open and spacious. And feel that space between the chest and the abdomen. Your breath will naturally deepen a little bit just because you're watching it and you're exploring the space inside of your body, but don't try to do any particular breathing exercise. Let the body rest and just be aware and observe. You can stay in this pose for as long as you like, anywhere between 10 to 20 minutes. To come out on a normal inhalation, open your eyes. One arm at a time, bend the elbows. One leg at a time, bend the knees, feet flat on the floor, pause. And it's important to learn not to lift the head when you roll to your side. Maintain the head releasing down, surrendered. So with your right hand, hold the blanket that was for your head. Hold it with your right hand. And you're going to roll over to the right without lifting the head. So let the head rest on the head blanket. And with your hands, you pull the blanket off onto the floor to keep the head on the head blanket. And be off of the back blankets. So the blankets that were under your back, with your left hand, you can push them away a little bit so that you don't have anything under your back. And you're lying on your side. Eyes open, gaze quiet. Let the back body spread as you breathe. And then pressing your left hand, let the head hang. Press your right hand, let the head hang, and you sit up. Move slowly. We're going to move the blankets that were under the back out of the way. Just keep one head blanket, whatever height you need for your own head. And we're going to lie back flat. So make sure you're straight when you lie down. It's important to lie flat after lying over that support for at least 2 or 3 minutes, maybe more. And taking the time to make sure you're lying down straight and that the body is well placed. I talk about lying in flat Savāsana in another video called Savāsana. Once you have settled the body, with an exhalation, you close the eyes. If the back is uncomfortable, move the flesh away from the low back with the hands. If that doesn't work, put some height under the thighs. Put a bolster or pillows under the thighs or under the knees. And here in Shavasana, you just let go. Let go, let loose everywhere as you remain present, alert, watchful, and observe this process of relaxation. And you can stay here as long as you want. And when you're ready to come out, you come out the same way you did out of the other pose. Slowly, taking your time. The same way that you want to roll over to the side without lifting your head, you want to learn to come out of resting poses slowly. Take at least 3 to 5 breaths on your side before you sit up. Letting the head hang. And then you can take this opportunity to sit quietly for a few moments, as long as you feel quiet. Sitting on top of a little something. Palms together at the center of the chest. And stay there for as long as you like. Your body will tell you when it's time to come out. Happy practice.